Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how you cannot change the seasons, but you can prepare for them. You cannot change the seasons, but you can prepare for them. So we all know that in the physical realm, we can actually see the seasons changing. And I done discussed this already plenty of times, but it's as far as like just making sure that it's understood and it's reiterated on as many different levels as possible. It's huge. And I like to say that because as well, for one, we're spiritual warriors over here, and we do discuss the opposition tactics and how they like to move and the things that they do, the things you should pay attention to, so that way you can kind of defend yourself accordingly. But also, prior to that, we have to also look at ourselves. So when we're looking at ourselves and we realizing that, okay, I'm at this age of this number and I've done been at this peak this many times. I done been at this low this many times. However many times it is for you per se, you know what I'm saying? These are spiritual seasons changing. Seasons changing that you have to be prepared for. Seasonal changes that you kind of also created through the steps that you've been taking. And also through the steps that you have not been taking. So, for me, I started understanding more, and because I'm also when I go to dive into things that I want to give outwardly, I have to look at myself as well too. And I haven't always been in the uphill cycle while I've been, putting this information out, teaching and doing things, whatever. So, but I realized as right now, I'm kind of in like my downward cycle, which I already know is just a cycle. All of these things transition through. Clearly, I have one of them things up here somewhere, so when I film outside, there's nothing that I can do about it except say I'm gonna go inside. But I'm not gonna go inside, I'm just gonna talk through it, you know what I'm saying? But we have cycles we go through. I realize that I'm in my downward cycle. Me understanding that now is realizing, okay, you've been in this position before, and how did that cycle go for me when I was in this position before? And when I think about how it was for me when I was in this position before, energetically, spiritually, it was hard, extremely difficult. But coming out of that cycle was a huge transformation behind it, you know what I'm saying? And with us being self-aware and being able to sit back and look at ourselves and self-reflect, you can actually see what's going on with you, you know what I'm saying? It's hot outside, it feels good outside, you know what I'm saying? Physically, it's the summer season, but right now, I know spiritually I will be what's called my winter season. I'm in my downward cycle before I loop back around into my usual cycles that I have. But the difference is with your cycles and the seasons changing is as each year goes, when the seasons, you're more prepared. When it cycles, it's constantly moving forward. It's like a wheel rolling forward, not a hamster wheel, but a wheel moving forward, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of understand what's going on with your cycles. And even before you get to a place to where you really understand, you'll realize that, okay, you've been here before, but your cycle is like you're moving, your pedals and your wheels is all going upward. It's not in a backwards motion, it's in a forward motion. So get into a space of just knowing where you at, you know what I'm saying? And then if you around a lot of people, you're not going to know what season it is unless, some of them are really out there, or you can just really feel their vibrations and you can just see their fruits all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Most of us, you can see our fruits, but I know some do a lot of masking and like putting food coloring and makeup on the food. Y'all know how they do for the commercials. So, but that's diving in deeper on a more like hypothetical level. But I was just meaning as far as just understanding what cycle you are in for the time of the year, knowing what season you are in. I've did a lot of harvesting. I've done a lot of reaping. Now it's time for me, and I've done my sowing, but now my cycle is re-going back through itself. You reap what you sow. So now that I've already reaped these benefits and these rewards, you don't just keep reaping them forever. You have to re-sow back into it. So now I'm re-sowing back into it, which I've always known and I've always done, but this is just something I want to discuss as far as how we're supposed to re-sow back into it. So that way you can reap more, because now you're sowing back into it at a different level and with a deeper understanding. Like, for a lot of us, we'd be afraid to dive into things because we feel like nobody want to listen to us, or we might, mess up or fuck up or whatever we may call it, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, you don't really know how to do it right, or if you're doing it the way you're supposed to until you do it and mess it up. So until you do it and mess it up, you won't really understand what's going on with it. So for me, I just always try to be mindful of my cycles of my life and what I have going on, because it's something that it'll help you maintain and balance your energy a lot better as you're going through it and processing it. It won't just seem like things is happening and hitting you out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we feel like things is happening out of nowhere. We feel like things is happening all at once. And sometimes, yes, some things are happening all at once. Sometimes you have to reap everything that comes up. You know, when you pull your fruits and veggies up, when you plant them in yourself, you still have to clean them. Most people still have to clean them. So that's the rest that comes up with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's just trying to be mindful of all these things. And like, for me, I always like to try to create a better image so it's something more meaningful in it, and so you can kind of grasp the concept a lot more. But this is all part of the process as well too. They clearly see me out here filming, but decided to start being loud intentionally. But this all is a part of the cycle as well too. You have to deal with all the awkward, weird energies. As you can see, I just kept talking through it because it's a normal process, you know what I'm saying? In a day in a life where you constantly going against the grain, you know what I'm saying? Whatever that grain may be for you, but I know for most it's going to be against the Western society norms, you know what I'm saying? Still got to do your thing to blend in and to make things shake and to survive, but for the most part, you trying to do everything you can to fight back, stay peaceful, stay safe, you know what I'm saying? But always being prepared. And being prepared comes with just knowing what's going on with you. So why not have a jump start at knowing what's going on with you when it's happening? If you got a lot of good, fruitful stuff going on right now, that means you was sowing in a lot of fire juice, you know what I'm saying? Like, you was sowing in some heavy fire seeds, so now you reaping all this. It's just all coming at one time. Or it's all kind of separated, one sprout here, one sprout there, but it's all falling for you. You know what I'm saying? But that just comes from the amount of work that you put in for that. And I was talking with a buddy of mine, and he was just kind of reminding me through my cycle, because I already understand, but it always helps to hear other beings say it as well too. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure you staying consistent in what you doing. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you staying on your grind. Make sure I'm keeping my routine as steady and consistent and trying to push forward still as much as possible, even with the other obstacles and hurdles that's in the way, which I already understand. But you know what I'm saying, that's kind of why we watch some of the videos that we even watch. You know what I'm saying? Just so we can kind of rehear it or refeel that vibration, you know what I'm saying? But they kind of letting their little ones just do whatever, so I ain't gonna run it up too long, you know what I'm saying? Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.